What's that?
All right, good morning, Chair Postman, board members Garrett and Hauge, and staff. Lobby is open and the recording has begun.
Thanks, Dustin. Good morning, everybody. We'll call to order the Wednesday, October 13th, 2021 meeting of the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board. I'm David Postman. With me are members Ollie Garrett and Russell Hauge. Our first order of business is to approve the meeting minutes from the September 29th meeting. Member Garrett, do you have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the September the 15th, 2021 board meeting minutes.
Great. I will second and approve those. Thank you. And we will move to get an update on alcohol-related rulemaking timelines from Audrey Vasek, the Alcohol Policy and Rules Coordinator. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Postman and board members Garrett and Hauge. Thanks for the opportunity to provide updates on the rulemaking timelines today. And before I provide today's updates, I want to share, as I did yesterday at caucus, that I'll be going on parental leave next week. And until I return, my colleague Robert Despain will be handling the alcohol rulemaking projects and provide updates at future board meetings. So now for today's updates, for the rule project related to axe throwing at liquor license premises, the CR 101 launching this project was filed with the code revisor on September 29th, the last board meeting. Information about the rulemaking project and how to provide comment was sent to GovDelivery subscribers and is available on the LCB rules webpage. The initial public comment period is open until November 19th, and we've received one comment via email so far. The LCB internal rule drafting group will meet throughout October and early November to develop conceptual draft rules and consider any comments we receive. Our first meeting is scheduled for later today, and our goal is to have conceptual draft rules ready for at least one listen and learn session in mid-November. We're in the earliest phases of the rule development at this point, and the timeline is tentative. Depending on the public feedback we receive, we anticipate a CR 102 might be ready in January or February at the earliest. For the rule project to implement 2021 legislation, House Bill 1480, related to the COVID-19 alcohol allowances, the CR 102 and proposed rules were filed with the code revisor on September 29th, and the public hearing is set for the board meeting on November 10th. The formal public comment period is currently open. We have not received any comments so far. After the public hearing on the 10th, the formal public comment period will close, and the rule drafting team will meet to review and consider any comments received. If no substantive changes need to be made to the proposed rules at that point, we anticipate filing the CR 103 and final rules on December 8th. If the CR 103 is filed on that date, the rules would go into effect 31 days later on January 8th. That concludes my rulemaking updates for today, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't see any. Thank you very much, Ms. Vasek. Good luck. We look forward to your return and look forward to working more with Robert as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll move to the cannabis side, and Jeff Kildall for rulemaking and timeline update. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Postman and board members Garrett and Hauge. I have only one rules update for today, and that is regarding the Cannabis Quality Control Rule project. For the Cannabis Quality Control Rule project, we have scheduled a listen and learn forum for the afternoon of Wednesday, October 20th from 1 to 4 p.m. Messaging for this event went out last week on October 6th via GovDelivery. So far, we have received no pre-session feedback on the conceptual draft rules that were offered with the messaging. And with this project, we remain on track to bring a CR 102 package to you on December 8th, 2021. And this concludes my update for today. May I answer any questions?
Don't see any today. Thanks, Mr. Kildall.
Thank you.
We will now move to our action item of the day, or at least the first. I'm getting a little echo there. Sorry. Kathy Hoffman, Policy and Rules Manager, will present the 102 on evaluating THC compounds. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Postman, board members Garrett and Hauge. This morning, I'd like to ask for your approval to file a CR 102 concerning the evaluation of THC compounds. This rule package represents the next phase of our agency's iterative process designed to address concerns around the presence of products in the I-502 license system other than marijuana as defined in statute. So to briefly recap that iterative process, we began by issuing a policy statement in late April that served as both the agency's position on this topic, as well as a way to start the conversation around the regulation of THC other than Delta-9 derived from marijuana, as well as the conversion of CBD, hemp, or both to Delta-8 and Delta-9 THC, and any other compound that isn't identified or defined in statute or rule. We filed the first very narrowly scoped CR 102 for this project in May, and to assure that this work moved forward based in data and science, we hosted the first of 2 deliberative dialogue sessions around cannabis plant chemistry in June. In July, after we learned that hemp-derived Delta-9 had become more prevalent in the market, we withdrew our original CR 101 and refiled with an expanded scope. A second deliberative dialogue was hosted on July 20th, and at that point, and based on what we learned in the deliberative dialogue sessions and from our constituents, we began to develop a regulatory framework for the board to evaluate THC compounds. We issued an interpretive statement around the allowable practices of licensed marijuana processors in July as well, and began to draft a legislative proposal aimed at expanding our ability to regulate and test all THC compounds, to assure safety. Draft conceptual rules were developed, and we hosted a list and learn session to review and discuss that draft in September. So the CR 102 package before you this morning, and more specifically the proposed rule language, is based on the language of RCW 6950-342 1M, providing that the board may prohibit the use of any type of additive, solvent, ingredient, or compound used in the production of and processing of marijuana products. The proposal provides definitions for each of these terms and a few others, and establishes a procedure for evaluation. So if approved for filing today, notice would be published in the Washington State Register on November 3rd. A public hearing would be held on December 8th. Under that timeline, I would bring the CR 103 package with final rules to you on January 5th, and if approved, rules would become effective 31 days after filing, or February 5th. So I would ask for your approval to file the CR 102 today concerning the evaluation of THC compounds. Any questions?
Questions from the board about this? Kathy, I just have one, I think, but can you just explain a little bit about the interplay between the rule package and the legislation that is still being developed? We've talked about this since March, of course, but it is this, you know, they are designed to work together, but also to fill the gaps from the authority we have. But can you just explain that to all of us a little bit?
So at this point, the LCB's regulatory authority ends with marijuana as it's currently defined in statute, which is marijuana with a concentration of 0.3% THC Delta-9. It's very specific. And so this rule package would allow the board to evaluate compounds other than that, that may be pose a threat to public health and safety in the way vitamin E acetate did during the E. Valley outbreak and after. And so if there's a compound that comes into the board's site that needs to be, we don't want that in our system. I don't know how else to say it, but this does give the board a way to evaluate that particular product and determine whether or not we would like to prohibit its use in our system. So at the same time, the legislation that we're working on right now would expand the board's authority to regulate all THC compounds. And so these rules are a bit of a stopgap measure while we work on that legislation moving forward. So it gives you the authority to protect the integrity of the I-502 system at this point, the way it's written in statute, while we're looking at ways to expand authority over THC at this point.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. And that legislation, just for everybody's awareness, is still being developed. We need to be close to finish. There's a process that we have to go through on that, but we're working hard to try to develop that and be able to submit that in time to the governor's office. And really, until we have that and these rules, you really won't be able to get the full picture of the approach, it seems to me. Is that fair comment?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay, great. Any other questions or comments from the board on this proposal? If not, is there a motion to approve the CR 102 on evaluation of THC compounds?
This is Ali. I move approval of the CR 102 for the THC compound.
You're muted there, Member Hauge. Sorry.
I apologize. I will second the motion.
Great, thank you. And then that is approved. So thank you, Ms. Hoffman. The 102 for evaluating THC is approved.
Thank you.
And we'll continue with you now. We have a series of action items related to rescinding board interim policies.
Great, thank you, Chair Postman. I'd like to ask for the board's approval to rescind another 4 board interim policies, or BIP. Consistent with my presentations at previous board meetings, the board issues BIP for many reasons, such as to create a temporary framework to implement legislation while rules are being developed, or to provide temporary interim support to licensees in response to a public health issue that may impact their ability to conduct business. I want to emphasize again that the focus of BIP is on their interim nature, as in the policies are generally not designed to be permanent, but to serve a temporary purpose until rules can be developed and adopted, or the issue that the BIP addresses is resolved. So I'll go through a brief description of each BIP today, and consistent with previous board meetings, the board may approve the rescission of all or part of what I described in one motion. So I'll start with LCB policy number 106, concerning alcohol consumption in darkened seating portions of sport entertainment facilities. Rules to effectuate this BIP went into effect in July 2017, and as a result, this BIP is no longer needed. BIP 1 2011 concerns wine dispensing machines, and rules to effectuate this BIP went into effect in June 2008. As a result, this BIP is no longer needed. BIP 7 2011 concerning self-service beer taps was incorporated into a rule also in June 2018, making this BIP unnecessary as well. And finally, BIP 8 2011 concerning the definition of wine of its own production under certain circumstances was realized in rule effective January 2018. And as a result, this BIP is also no longer needed. So unless there's questions, I would ask for your approval to rescind these 4 BIP today as described.
I don't see any questions, and we will do these as a package. Is there a motion to rescind the above described interim board policies?
This is Member Hauge. I will so move.
And this is Ali. I second.
Great, and those are all approved. Thank you very much. Are there more to come still, or are we caught up?
I think we're caught up for now.
Great. Okay, well, thanks for sticking on this. I appreciate it. And I'm still waiting to see if we have one that is older than the 21-year-old one we repealed earlier. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Board.
We now move to the public comment period of the board meeting, where citizens are invited to address the board on matters of importance to them. A couple of reminders. One, just as always, the meetings are recorded. That'll be posted on the website soon after the meeting. When I call your name, please state your name and affiliation. You'll be given 4 minutes to speak. When you have 30 seconds left, Dustin will interject politely that you have 30 seconds. Please be very mindful of that time and wrap up at the end of that 30 seconds for us. And the first person I have signed up this morning is Sean Dene.
There we go.
Good morning.
Good morning. Getting used to this logging on correctly thing here. So yes, thank you, Chair Postman. I am the CEO of Washington Bud Company. We're a Tier 2 up in North Snohomish County. I'm also on the board of directors for the newly established Washington Sun and Craft Growers Association. And I've also been a longtime member of the Cannabis Alliance. Today I am speaking on behalf of my business. I've been really stressed out about this proposed legislation from the LCB. I've lost about 5 pounds since you guys dropped that that second version. It seems to me to allow processors to import all minor cannabinoids now, not just CBD, and to create synthesized products for the market. It also seems to give privileges to growers to not grow this new term plant cannabis, but only stay with marijuana. And so I'm trying to wrap my head around why our regulatory agency would invite all minor cannabinoids into the system from unregulated plants. And I've just come to the conclusion that it may be a lack of understanding of the plant. And so if you would just give me a little leeway on seeing if I can educate a little bit better. Cannabis L sativa is the botanical name. It doesn't, and that includes male and female plants. And it doesn't matter if it's hemp or ruderalis or marijuana. They can all interbreed, but it includes male and female plants. Growers of cannabinoids for consumption only grow female plants. And it's Sansamillion, no seeds. The reason for that is because the plant grows trichomes. I'm going to hold up this picture here. Can you see this picture? No, not really, can you? Oh, shit.
No, it doesn't
well,
really
anyway,
come.
yeah. Anyway, trichomes are these very sticky secretions that the female flower puts out in hopes to capture male pollen. Once the pollen is captured, the plant discontinues producing trichomes and goes into seed production. In 502, in medical, I mean, we all grow female plants because we don't want seed production. That completely devalues your crop. Hemp for industry, on the other hand, grows both male and female plants because they want the seeds, right? They want stalks that grow 10 to 15 feet tall for fiber, grows like rows of corn or rows of bamboo, as to where plants that are grown for cannabinoid consumption are grown in individual pots or individual, you give space around them. But
Sean, you have 30 seconds.
Only 30 seconds left. I've already done 4 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's the bottom line. You may have heard that this proposal to allow all cannabinoids won't hurt us flower production. In 2017, 46% of my sales were trim. In 2018, it went down to 31%. After 2334 passed, in 2019, it went down to 7%. Last year, it was 7.3. This year to date, it's 6.8%. Our trim has value. Of all the dry weight that we harvest,
Sean, that is your time.
60% of it is trim. So we don't have a shortage of cannabinoids in 502. Those of us that grow within the canopy can provide all cannabinoids that any market needs. And that's what we need a regulatory agency to do for us. I had so much more, so I'm going to write it up and send it to you.
Okay, please. I was just going to say, if you could, that would be great. And I just want to, as Kathy Hoffman and I were talking, the legislation that we're doing is still a work in progress. So no one should assume anything about that. And we're having detailed conversations about this at this point. So, and when they're, we've been trying to build more time in to get feedback, and we'll continue to do that. But it is not a done deal. The rulemaking reached an important juncture today, of course, but the legislation is still under work. So if you have anything else to send, I would just encourage you to send that to us.
Okay,
so,
I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today. And now the only other person I have signed up today is Sammy Saad. You have 4 minutes to address the board.
Thank you. Allow me to speak. Last meeting, they did not allow me to speak because they don't like what I talk. I'm an ex-shop owner. I know about weed more than her and how weed is grown. And I've been in a business. The social equity, the bill you guys adopted before, we oppose it because it's not fair. We are not included. And now the social equity groups, you guys have, Paula is not there being fired. It's not, she did not resign. So the second thing is Miss Ellie Garrett, she willing to help me, but I own the first weed shop in Washington. And when I call her, and first she was very sweet. When I call her in her phone, she very rude. She said, "Do not call this phone no more. If I have any update, I will help you." I lost the trust in LCB. The first thing, any feedback, it should have be a rule and a way, the legislator to see what the feedback, not just the LCB, because you guys want to approve what you want to approve. If you guys wanted to check what is going on in the weed industry, it's all whack. I use this for medical. And I used to have a weed shop. And my tribe is Kosh. We've been growing up with weed. I'm from Sudan. I am American like everybody else. But all of us, we are not, we've been mistreated. You guys not giving us nothing. We oppose this bill. It should be failed. The legislator in Olympia, they said, "Let's go. You guys work out with us." And they spoke to Senator Saldana. Senator Saldana, I went to her office. She did not even respect me at the time. She wanted to speak with the other people. They have the small hat. I don't want to say a Jewish. I'm mixed with Jewish. I'm not against Jewish. I am a Muslim. No disrespect for anyone. I'm mixed with Jewish. I love my Jewish community as well. And no respect. But the first weed shop medical is being given to a Jewish guy. She's not even been there. We've been since 2012, 2011. First of all, being convicted felony, we respect that. You put them, but you took from us. Now you level us management and a weed shop owner, the same level. So any weed shop management now being added as a black folks to be used for other people, white folks to be having license later. I am Sami Saad. I lost my shop. I need my shop back. First of all, I want to ask one question. Is it Mr. Garcia? My respect to him and respect to all of you guys, and no disrespect for Miss Ellie Garrett. And Mr. Thompson, Chris Thompson, he's supporting him because that's his boss. But no disrespect for all of them. They're not a king. This is not a kingdom. So really, you guys miss us up. Every time I cannot speak, I want to attend every meeting. If anybody see me didn't speak, that means you guys not allow me to speak. When you guys gonna respect us? I need my shop back. I own a weed shop since 2012, 2013 in Aurora, not close to Aurora, in 323 North 105th Street. I used to eat a pizza in a pizza place they call the bakery in Aurora, owned by a Mexican lady. Now the bakery is a weed shop, and my shop closed. Is that fair? If this is equity you guys talking about? First of all,
Sammy, you have 30
previous shop
seconds.
owner, they need to have 100%. Let me say one thing. The weed shop, you need to guys to go to scale those weed. It's all is underweighted and undergrade, and people getting sick with the flavor. Just the same thing like the flavor The one, it was in Newport, making people sick and made for black people. I don't know. That's what I heard in the South. I grew up in the South. Yes, I am from Sudan, but I grew up in the South. Guys, please, when you guys respect us. First of all, I'm going to tell you guys, frankly,
Sami, that's your time.
honestly, yeah, what's one thing? I have a lawsuit against the LCB and the NCRO. I swear to Allah and I swear to God. And God is Allah. And guys, listen to me. Black Excellent, they get their shop back. I did not get my shop back. When?
Okay.
You guys treat it because I'm Muslim? I'm not a Jewish? I
Sammy,
don't have no right here?
That is your time.
I'm not a Christian?
Today, Mr. Saad, thank you.
That's a disrespect.
And I will just say that is your time for today. You're certainly welcome to come back if you make the simple request that is outlined on our website for speaking. And I would just encourage you that if you do that again, you try to leave people's religion out of those conversations. And I appreciate that you said you mean no disrespect, but I think you mischaracterize Member Garrett's participation and importance in the work around social equity. I think we're lucky to have her, and she holds us accountable on that. So I had two notices that staff wanted me to share with people just to help get the word out, and I will do that now before we adjourn. One is on CCRS, on the update on traceability, and we'll have an update this afternoon in our executive management team from Jim Morgan, our CFO, on this too. So if you're interested in that project in more detail, you should tune into that. But let me just mention a few things. The goal of that is to create a streamlined, simplified reporting system that we can operate in-house at the LCB. There is a project team. Jim Morgan is leading that. They're developing and testing the new system with involvement and as much feedback as they can get from licensees, testing labs, and the third-party integrators. They've had 2 webinars. They wrapped up pilot testing with volunteer stakeholders, and they had great response to the pilot testing request. And we're all really grateful to the partners who worked with us on that. And it produced some work product. It found some important issues that the system was struggling with and the user resources, so it worked. But now the testing's now open to all cannabis stakeholders who will need to interact with the new system. And I want to encourage all cannabis licensees, labs, and integrators to take a few actions now so they'll be better prepared for the system launch, which is set to happen in just under 2 months. One important step is to practice using the system before it's actually live. For the remainder of October, licensees can access the testing pages. You can find all the testing details on the CCRS webpage, which is easy to find on the LCB website. Another important thing is to get your current data from the leaf traceability system soon. You'll need that information and your on-hand inventory details for your first required reporting in early December. And then want to remind folks that the new reporting system does not take the place of their responsibility to track and document required elements for traceability under state law. The CCRS system includes a subset of inventory and other details. The licensees will still be required to maintain their own records for other traceability factors, and that also you can get more detail on that at the CCRS webpage. The other thing, in an unrelated matter, but one that we've communicated with licensees about through the listserv, but Gov Delivery, but let me just stress it here. This has to do with IT security. So the state IT security team began an automated email notification to everyone who sends or receives email from a state agency that contains what they call PII, personally identifiable information. An example of this for us would be the UBI number for licensees. We sent licensees a memo on Gov Delivery and posted information instructions on our website. The instructions are easy to follow and do, so please be on the lookout for any email from LCB that may be encrypted. Open it and follow the instructions. There's a lot of information and resources already available on the webpage, along with frequently asked questions, contacts for technical assistance, and compliance information. Stakeholders will hear more from CCRS as the date of launch nears, but please take some time to get ready now so we're all more prepared for the coming launch. And the website is pretty robust on all these things. So if you have any questions, take a look there. If you get stymied and don't know where to go, just email us. You can email me or Dustin, and we'll make sure it gets to the right person if you don't know who to email. So with that, I will pause. That's the end of the agenda. Anything to add from board this afternoon or this morning? Sorry. No. Okay, great. Well, thank you all. Appreciate staff's help today and the public's participation, and we will see you this afternoon for executive management team. Bye-bye.